It's going now, and we will get rocking and rolling. Adam, how you doing? All right. Well, we will get rocking and rolling. As a general reminder, guys, we're videotaping these, or I guess screen recording for future use, and we're working on building a library of these videos, and eventually hope to get them all put on YouTube. I believe Connor should be joining us here hopefully soon. He said he's running a little late. But so kind of some brief review of the two umpire system philosophies. The two umpire system, as we've discussed fairly in detail, it's the basic set of mechanics for all umpires. The higher up you go, and if you get to work a state tournament, the 3 and 4 umpire systems all build upon the principles of the two umpire system. We've talked about angle over distance, in that sometimes a good angle is much better than being right up on a play. And then we've talked about the responsibilities that the two umpire system has, and some of the challenges that it can hold. So last week we conveniently stopped at the second of 3 rotations in the two umpire system. So in this situation here, we have a runner on first and second is where we're starting at again. We have a fly ball to center field in this play pick, but a fly ball to the outfield, and we have a double tag of both R2 and R1. And the reason for that, as we discussed last week, I'll get my drawing tool up here, is we want to make sure that we have adequate coverage. So on a play like this, using our baseball logic, we may not expect the throw to be going this way. Rather, we would expect the throw to be coming in here to second base. And so what we don't want is we don't want U1 to get caught here and have to be looking roughly 50 feet into this play. So in a situation like this, in the event that we do have the tag or the throw coming into third on R2, we have the plate umpire come up here. As we discussed, I slide in a little bit more, but we're staying in foul territory until there's a play. And as if you were here last weekend, Larry said that a play is ball and runner, and that's what we should be using to determine when to come into the actual infield. And then just one thing that I want to point out here. So in this situation, we have the base umpire that starts out in the middle C position here. Okay, you're going to find out later on that there are actually 2 C positions. There's the middle C and then there's the deep C position. On this play, we're going to have U1 with the fair foul, or not fair foul, catch no catch responsibility. And so the plate umpire is going to take the tags as best he can. But we notice here that on any play, we have U1 moving over to the B side of the field. This is the B side. Okay, now there's a specific reason that U1 goes to that side of the field, and it's very simple. Nearly every play into second base is taken by the base umpire on the B side of the field. So in a perfect case scenario here, we're going to be taking this play, on most plays at the base, we're going to be at second base, we're going to be taking a play anywhere at those 2 X's. depending on the play situation and where we're starting at. And so the reason that we shift U1 over to the B side of the field is it's consistency. You're taking a play at the same base from the same side of the field. That's why you've started to see a lot of, if you're watching a major league game or if you're watching a three umpire system game, you're going to see that most of the time the base umpire is going to start out on the B side of the field. In 3 umpire and 4 umpire mechanics, you're able to, the umpire that is inside the infield is able to select which side they're working on. It's becoming more and more frequent that they're teaching that you should be on the B side of the field so you have the consistency that you're looking at this play from the same spot.
Hey, Jacob.
Yes, go ahead, Adam.
This is Adam piping in. Another reason or another thing for this is where is the most likely play. So if assuming R2 tags here, the plate umpire has R2 responsibilities into third. So where is the most likely play on the remaining runner, the trail runner in this sense, which is R1? The most likely play is either going to be into second base or back at first. So that is why we want U1 over on the B side of the field, is because the 2 most likely plays on the runner that U1 is responsible for is first or second.
Well said.
This is also known as shading the runner. So we end up moving into that logical position that Adam mentioned. We've got R1, we've got 2 runners now, all right? We got actually 3 because the batter runner is doing something too. But the live runners are R1 and R2. So therefore, why not get somebody at third and somebody at first or second? So that's kind of the idea there.
Fantastic. So in this situation here, we got a fly ball, and this would be the case for any, I guess, fly ball down either line. If it's down the right field line, just invert the mechanics here, the plate umpire. So the first responsibility of the plate umpire is to be fair foul in catch, no catch. We know this play is going to be this catch, no catch responsibility is the plate umpires because we have the left fielder breaking to the fair foul line. So here in the picture, the plate umpire does not overcommit. Okay. One of the things that I see, and frankly, I was guilty of when I was a much younger umpire, is on a play like this, when I'd have a runner on second base, I'd get all the way up to here. And now you're overcommitting and over hustling. So notice the plate umpire only goes up, about 5 feet outside of the dirt circle. It's plenty of distance to be stop, set, and able to make a catch, no catch call, and still rotate back to take a play at the plate. Using good baseball sense, we know for a fact that R2 is likely to score, unless it's a deep fly ball, or there's, they're not tagging, or there's a potential tag situation here. So once again, we have U1 starting in the middle C position and looking to basically follow the runner. And in this situation now, U1 is going to be responsible for the touch at first, touch at second, and then the basically U1, if I'm seeing a throw, if I'm seeing a play come in here like we're having here, that was terrible. Like we have here, then U1 would slide here. Otherwise, I like this point here. Hang on one second. I like getting to this position here because then you can read the play in case we do have a play on R1 going first to third. So we have a play here. Then you're able to get a look at it. This is one of those situations where the concept of angle over distance is going to come into play here. And as you notice, either spot, as long as you're starting here, you're going to be in a fairly good position to slide to take a play at either second or third base. So we have a fly ball down the right field line with a catch. So we know that because we have a right fielder break into the fair foul line, this is going to be the plate umpire's fair foul responsibility. And once again, this is going to be very similar to the last play. Basically, U1, just get to a stationary point, which I guess in this case, I would set up here, but then I'm in the way of the throw. But set up and figure out where the most likely play is going to be. And then from there, if you read that third base is going to be the likely play, then you back up. Realistically, I think you're going to have more opportunity to have a play on R1 just because it's a shorter distance. But the for U1, it's get to a point where you can get set and read the play and let the play take you where you need to go, angle over distance again. That's what happens in a lot of these situations, especially when we put more runners on base. In the 2-umpire system, we have to use angle over distance a lot more. Any questions so far, guys? Once again, feel free to chime in with questions. Otherwise, feel free to use the chat window, and we'll try to get to them as best we can. All right, bases loaded. So, got one chat here. Hang on one second. And Connor's here. So, Connor, we are at bases loaded. And when you're ready, take it away.
Jake, who's covering this?
Go for it.
Me? Okay.
Yep, go for it.
Make sure the outfield runners on first and second. All right. So, as a plate umpire, when the ball's put in play, you are going to step back and just observe the action. Just go point of plate extended, just take a couple steps back and observe everything. You have primary responsibility for R2 touching third, and really all touches at third and home. Be in position to observe both the fielding action and the touches that you're responsible for. And then make sure you're able to be in position for a potential play at the plate. As U1, you are going to have R1 at second and third, and the batter runner at first, second, and third on touches. This is something that's really important to pregame, in my opinion, because we have to watch other runners touch their bases, right? We also have to be responsible for any action on the ball. We have to know where the ball's going once it's coming into the infield, and we have to be able to read plays to get in position for a play. So we have a potential play of R1 at third base as U1. We also have the batter runner back into first or into second. So it's really important here to just the baseball, observe your touches, and observe the action of the baseball. It's really easy to get caught up as a new or younger umpire in watching the runners touch their bases and miss where the throw is going, or only watch the baseball and miss the touches. So have a sense of feel of where the runners are in the location of their bases, peek to watch them touch, go back to the baseball. So kind of jump back and forth between the touches that you're responsible for and the action on the baseball, or the action of the baseball rather, and make sure we have a general idea of where the play is going to be at so we can put ourselves in position for that play. We have 2 runners as both plate and base umpire, so we need to make sure that we are ready to rule on plays for them. And unfortunately, as U1, you really have all plays that are going to result in the infield. So there's potentially, you may have 3 plays plus an appeal that you're responsible for having knowledge on. So it's really important just to back up, gain distance, to create angles for touches, and keep your chest to the baseball.
Hey, Connor, before we move any further here, talking in regards to our pre-pitch position here. So I previously alluded that, we have a middle C and then kind of a deep C.
Mhm.
Do you want to just briefly touch on your, I guess, pre-pitch positioning and why we're doing it this way, I guess?
Yeah. With runners on first and second, I'm always in that middle C position, or I'm probably a little bit closer than what U1 depicts personally, because I'm more comfortable up there. But it's because I have an angle on a pick or a back pick to first from that middle C, or that true C position. I also have a great look at R2 sliding back into second. And I'm also in great position to take 2 to 3 steps and get set for potential steal play at third. If we're in deep C with runners on first and second, we lose our angle at first. And we also we have to work harder to get up into an angle to see ball, fielder, runner, base on that tag play at third if there's a steal or a pickoff play.
So
when in doubt, I'm always going to be in that true C position, simply because that gives me a great look. I'm 1 to 2 steps away from being in great position to make a call at any base.
And in a bases loaded situation, are you setting up in deep C?
In a bases loaded situation, I know we're not quite there yet for as far as our runners go. Oh,
Yeah, we are. This is bases loaded.
I'm sorry. I thought we were R1, R2 still. In a bases loaded situation, it depends on the type of plays going on in the game. Honestly, typically I'm probably going to revert to a deep C because it gives me a look at the back pick at third. It also keeps me a little bit further out of the way for the fielders and puts me in good position for the next play. But ultimately, it's got to be where you feel comfortable. And your mobility is going to dictate this a little bit. The more mobile you are, the further back into the C position you can get. If your mobility is limited or you're not as fast as you used to be, I would be a proponent of working up into the normal C position or the true C, because it gives you a look at all 3 bases without much movement.
Well said. I guess from my perspective, I default to the deep C position. Mobility, I guess, for me is not much of an issue. When we're talking about setting up for pre-pitch, we're always thinking, what is the most likely play or thing to happen on the field? Okay. And that's without the ball being put in play. Well, baseball IQ says you don't pick behind your lead runner, even though sometimes they do. But your most likely play without the ball being played or being put in play is going to be F2 back pick into third base. And I'm going to kind of draw this out here just a little bit. So we're going to have the tag right here. And you're going to have the third baseman likely straddling the bag like this to try to make the tag. And so now we have a window right here that is actually better than being, up here to take a look at it from there. And so going on that logic, I always start in the deep sea position. But yes, it does definitely depend on what you're seeing as far as what the infield's doing. I mean, I've even taken a deep sea position as far back as say here, and that's simply because we have the infield in, and I want to get behind the infielders. Adam, do you have anything to add or touch on with that?
No, I think it's well explained. I would just caution getting too deep. I like staying up in the working area. It allows the most versatility to get the best angles wherever you need to.
For those that
Mark?
don't know, this is the I'm gonna just kind of rough this out a little bit here. But if you think of it this way, this is when Adam's referring to the infield working area. This is, and that first line isn't very good, so we're gonna go off of this line. But this is generally speaking what we would refer to as the infield working area. There we go. And it's most of your movement as a base umpire would take place in that area. I think did Mark have a question?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So 2 things in chat that I want to cover real quick, and I think it's something definitely to pregame, but also to have a feel for the game and know what your partner can see. So a pop fly, a fly ball over the shoulder catch, and the home plate umpire's responsibility. So Mark, can you pop on real quick? Are you talking about a deep fly ball or like a pop fly infielder going out to make a catch on?
So we had a situation in Iowa Central a couple years ago where bases loaded. I'm in deep sea position. I'm looking for the catch, no catch out, and left center field. The guy is like over the shoulder catch. My home plate umpire is not watching the bases. My responsibility is for that catch, correct? And he was confused that he had fair foul on that. And I'm like, there's no way he had fair foul because I'm the one that's watching the catch in the center because it's in the V section. And he was not watching the pads. So
I got you.
My concern is we got to make sure we got somebody watching the pads and guys touching bases. And then we had to worry about tag ups on that catch. So then the tag ups, whose responsibility is for those tag ups and then also watching the bases?
Okay, yeah. In pregame, I mean, this might be a situation you cover now that you bring that up. I always tell my crew, the base umpire is responsible for left fielder, for catch, no catch, left field to right field, straight in, straight out. Anything taking them hard to the line is going to be the plate umpire because they're probably going to have a fair foul catch or a fair foul call or a catch, no catch where they're going to see the glove, right? As a base umpire, you're not going to see the glove on that. You're not going to see the open glove on that catch hard to the line. And it's really easy as a plate umpire to see everything, right? You're out of the action. You have everything in view. So in that scenario, I'm going to communicate with my base umpire or from the base umpire. I'm going to say, I've got this, or you take the runners or something to signify that as a plate umpire, I'm going to have all touches. Now, as the base umpire, I also will get really deep into the working area, or really I'm going to go as close to the mound as I can get and keep something in my line of view so I can have a judgment on a potential tag up while keeping the ball. My focus is going to be on the ball. So I'm going to have a wide vision and be able to see one of those runners and help out, but I'm also going to have a narrow focus on the catch. And once I see a catch, then I'm going to go from my peripheral vision to put that runner in my focus and see where they're at. And that's how I'm going to handle that. But it all comes down to communication and your plate umpire telling you what they have, or you as a base umpire telling the plate umpire what they need to take. I'm a huge proponent of vocal communication, verbal communication on the field, If you've worked with me ever, I talk a lot. Some people might say too much, but the more we communicate, the more everybody knows what we have. And then when a appeal play on a tag comes up, and you've already said, if I'm the plate guy, and I've already said, I've got R3, Jake, or I've got R2, and they appeal R2, I step up, I bang them safe. They know I'm looking there. So they know that I actually saw it. And that prevents that coach from coming out potentially because I'm communicating with my partner.
Okay, is this a catch he said by left center field with the shortstop going out to make it over the shoulder? Is that what he's talking about?
I think it's a deep fly ball to left center.
Or
So your
deep
left fielders, yeah.
I know the base umpire is going to move out toward to the baseline, close to the baseline, to get a good angle on the catch. So you're going to have to prioritize things. A plate umpire normally has tag up at third anyway, but he can pick up the R2 on that play, but nobody's going to pick up R1. R1's probably going to be halfway or more to second base anyway. So we're not worried about his tag up. Now the plate umpire should check to see if he is tagging up. And then he can say, I've got the runners.
One thing that I will chime in on, and I drew the diagram up here, and this is typically what I do, is especially working I don't want to say junior legion and below, and if I'm working with a partner or base umpire that wants to take all the tags, what I want to do is I want to back up off the plate and get as many runners in my field of view, which is kind of indicated by the yellow line, and using both peripheral vision and your straight line vision to get as many players in your field of view. And that's keeping as many players in your field of view. That's best practice for officiating. Doesn't matter if it's football, baseball, basketball, hockey. You want to keep as many players in your line of sight as possible. So just to add
Larry,
that.
Sorry, Jake.
No, I'm done. Go ahead.
Larry, that's a great point. Use your baseball IQ to know what's going to happen. That runner at first is never going to tag on a deep fly ball to left field, or or an outfield, any outfielder situation really, where they're turning and running towards the fence. They're never going to tag. They always go halfway. So that pretty much takes them out of the equation. And by the time that ball's caught, they turn the head, we can take a peek and see where they're at and make sure they retouch.
Got a comment in the chat here that, in this situation, the mechanics say that the base umpire is not only responsible for the catch, but the touches and tags at first and second. Yes, that is my understanding as well. And there's a second comment that just said that the plate umpire can help at least at second, which I agree with that as well. So the thing that I would, if I'm going off the book mechanics, like we're talking about, is rather than coming back as the diagram here is showing, I might take and get to about right here. Not quite even with the pitcher's mount. I still want to stay as close to the infield working area as possible. But what I want to try to do is I want to try to be able to get both my runners, and this is a little bit more difficult. I'm losing R1 here a little bit, but I want to try to get a field of view much similar to what we're seeing here, because then I can, I have ball, I have a tag here, and I have another tag here. So, and angle over distance, I'm taking myself further away from the play that is the catch to gain a better angle on secondary responsibilities.
Jake, I've got one thing to
I'd
wrap
like to
up.
say something though about that.
Okay.
It's described to me as a over the shoulder catch. To me, that's a trouble ball. And a trouble ball, I've got to move from normal C to the baseline and get an angle for that catch. That's my priority. not the tags and the touches and all that. I've got to know that it's a catch or not a catch. That's my number one priority. So I've got to go out to the ball. I can't throw it back. If this is a routine fly ball, then I'm going to do what you said, Jacob.
Great point, Connor. To wrap up,
the one thing to wrap up on this, we do not and we cannot afford to umpire the baseball while it's in flight unless it involves fair foul. So, and what I mean by that is know where it's going, know who's going to make a play on that baseball, but we can't have our eyes following the baseball throughout the entire flight. Know where it's going, peek at your runners, go back to the baseball and be ready for that play. Because a lot of times we get so intent on watching the baseball from the bat all the way to the glove. If we officiate by the book, we're going to miss strictly by the book, we're going to miss out on a lot of stuff in the 2-umpire system because we have to trade the important stuff for the less important stuff. So know the flight of the baseball, know whether or not it's threatening the wall, know about how long it's going to take to get there, and divert attention when you can. Now, that's not saying never look back at the baseball, but I'm saying flight of the ball, okay, left fielder's going after it, turn and run, get to position, take a peek, go back to the baseball. And we have to fill in the gaps and prioritize what really matters on that play.
Any last questions here on this before we move on? All right. Go ahead, Connor.
Okay. So a fly ball to left center. So obviously this is our left field to right field, straight in, straight out, everything in between. So a base umpire has catch, no catch responsibilities. Pretty simple there. On a routine base hit, I am going, or on a routine fly ball, right? Maybe not a true can of corn, but something that it's going to be a catch, or he's going to catch it above the waist with limited effort. As U1, I have R2 tagging. As plate umpire, I have R3 tagging. As U1, I'm going to deepen into the working area and get an angle to see both in the field of vision at the same time. Because remember, they only have to be touching first when the ball first hits the glove of the fielder. Okay, so once it hits the glove, they can release. I'm going to stay with the baseball and process that catch. I'm going to be very, very patient and make sure I have voluntary release before I signal anything, if I signal anything. There are two schools of thought on that. One is every play needs a signal. I think as you go up more and more, those cans of corn balls caught that are clear catches and there's zero doubt at all, we don't always need a signal for. Some people may feel differently about that, but that's the school of philosophy I subscribe to. And I might verbalize that's a catch and make sure everybody knows. But in the game of baseball, everybody's watching the baseball, right? So I'm going to watch my R2 tag go to third. I'm going to follow him to third if the ball takes me there. Because I also have R1 either tagging or returning to retouch to go to second. And I'm responsible for both of those plays at second and third. Or a potential back throw to first if R1 gets stranded out there. So I need to be in a position to see what I need to see and be ready for the next play. As a plate umpire, fly ball to left center, just like I do 90% of other plays, anytime there's a runner on third, I'm just going to take 2 to 3 steps back, point of plate, and observe. I've got R3 tagging or retouching, and I've got the play at the plate. And that's all I've got on this situation. I should be able to have an opinion on the catch, no catch, but I'm not the ruling official on that. Yeah, U1's gonna have to work a little bit on this one because we got to follow the baseball. And that baseball may be going to first, second, or third. Odds are it's going to second or third, or going to the cutoff. But be ready for that play at first, and remember, angle over distance.
if you look at the diagram, U1 should not have made that move to third base because the throw is not going there. He should have stayed where he was near the back of the mound until a play is going to happen at third or second or first.
And Larry, I think on this play, it just shows them getting out of the way of the throw coming in.
Yeah,
to the
I
plate.
can understand that, but I'm
Yeah,
saying
for sure.
if this guy at second, he's tagging, I understand that, and he's going, and the other guy's going back, I still say there's no ball and runner going to third base, only the runner.
Yep, agreed.
Hang on. So, and it won't let me do it. Okay. Adam, were you going to say something? I think somebody was trying to cut in there.
You're good, Jake.
Okay. I guess one thing that I may do in this exact situation, rather than cutting into the C side of the field, I might just either stay here, or I might take a step or two that way. And the reason that I'm going to go in that angle is so I can still have my angle. Because if I get to right here, then I'm still in a fairly good spot to move with the ball. But then I'm out of the, I guess we'll call it the throwing lane.
The key is just observe the baseball and get out of the way.
Yep.
But keep yourself in position for a potential play at any other base. All right, fly ball on the left field line. So a plate umpire is going to have fair foul, catch, no catch, and R3 tagging. We do need to work with the line a little bit as a plate umpire in this situation because we have to gain a little bit of distance towards that play. The other thing we have to contend with is we're going to have a third baseman, a runner, and a coach all in the vicinity of third base, which can potentially obstruct our vision of that ball. So we have to get to where we can see that if it's going to threaten the line. Now, if it's not going to threaten the line, we can be on the line because there's no need to rule on a fair foul in that situation. So we're going to move up the line a little bit, observe the catch, no catch, observe the tag, and circle back around for the play at the plate. Depending on how deep it is, you may need to move a little bit more up the line, but don't go too far because you still have to beat the runner to home. And not only that, but you have to be in position to rule on a play at the plate, which is when everybody's pucker factor goes way up, right? So move where you need to move to get an angle to see that catch, no catch, that fair foul call, and the tag.
There's a term called as far as the play will allow. And that's an important thing to understand. And that's based on your mobility also. You know, if you were doing it, you can go a little further than I can. I can probably just get around in the fair territory on the line in the batter's box. That's where I probably would go. Where you can get up there 15, 30 feet out.
Yeah, that's a great point. As U1, you're going to move in position to view, no catch, no catch, catch, no catch, R2 tagging, and then observe what happens with R1, right? And we talked about baseball IQ and not following the flight of the baseball all the way to the glove. Okay, that's not your catch, no catch. Take a peek and see what R1's doing because that's going to tell you how much attention he needs. Get in position to have both R2 and catch, no catch in line of sight. Be able to have an opinion on catch, no catch. And then read the runners and move in a position to where you can officiate the next play at one of the bases. Sometimes that is not moving at all because we don't have runner and baseball going to the same location. So it's a really simple play to officiate, really simple play to umpire. I don't think we need to beat that one into the ground.
No.
I think we're good there.
This is also a possible time play with one out.
Yes. I don't know if we've covered that yet.
Have not.
But that's a great point, Larry. Something that I think is something that I learned a little too late in umpiring. Wish I'd have known it earlier. So we have a fly ball with one out to left field and a potential play at the plate, or a runner scoring. So now if we have a tag play at third, we have to know, did the run score before the tag or not? So we have to be very vocal in this situation. It's a pre-pitch signal, right? Typically, this is my pre-pitch, one out. I don't know if you can, how well you can see me. One out, and I point to where a watch would be, right? One out, we get a timing play. And I'm always going to very emphatically verbalize tag if I've got a potential out, because that tells my plate umpire when the tag was made. Now, if the fielder drops the ball, then we don't have an issue. But I'm going to verbalize, I've got a tag. I'm going to let the play finish, and then I'm going to signal my out. That way I'm very patient on that play, but my plate umpire also knows to locate R3 when he hears me acknowledge the tag.
I interject the term time play and timing. They are different.
Mm-hmm.
So please, we need to, as umpires, use the correct term for when we're talking about things with coaches, because if timing is when your cylinders in your car are not working well, or balls and strikes, your timing is too quick or too slow, or safes and outs. But on this is called a time play. What happens first? The runner scoring or the tag at third base? That's a time play.
Well said. Connor, we got, I guess, one more, but then I noticed we're missing, and I don't think the book actually covers just a general play within the infield. So I think we'll hit on those two and then just kind of wrap up.
All right. Fly ball to right field. This is a time where, as the plate umpire, I'm going to be very vocal, and I guess I probably should have mentioned this to the last one. Jake, I'm on line. Or Jake, my line. Letting him know that I've got fair foul, I've got this play. So as a plate umpire, I'm going to, what am I going to do here? Give me a second here. Because every play is a little different, right? And nothing's going to be exactly how the book describes it. I'm probably going to deepen up, swing around to the third baseline extended if I have a fair foul threatened ball. So I'm on the line.
On the left, you may go back to the left field line.
No, you're fine. Here.
Okay.
This one here. I'm going to deepen up and swing around to first baseline extended to rule on fair foul. And I'm going to be deep enough that I can see R3. Because I still have R3's tag on this play. So I want a wide field of vision. I want to rule fair foul. I want to see R3 tagging in my peripherals. I want to use my entire field of vision here. Then I'm going to get in position for that play at the plate. As U1, this is a really easy play for U1, because essentially all you have to do is pivot and make sure you can see R2 and R1 tagging. It's really simple. Pivot, open up, have R1, R2, and catch, no catch in your field of vision, and just be ready for wherever the baseball goes. And get to an angle to where you can officiate that play where baseball, runner, fielder all meet. There are some crews, some people will want to switch that. And as the plate umpire, I'm going to take R1 tagging because he's in my direct line of vision, right? I have that, and I'm going to switch. I'm going to expect U1 to take R3 tagging because I've got fair foul responsibility. So I've got a lot to look at here, and I need focus here down that first baseline. So again, talk through this in pregame because some people will handle it differently. The important things are the catch, no catch, the fair foul, and R3 tagging. Those are the three most important things. I would say fair foul in order: fair foul, catch, no catch, R3 tackling, because that's what everybody sees, and that's what everybody freaks out about is R3, because that runner scores or doesn't score based on that the result of that appeal.
I advise against the idea of changing who's responsible for that R3. You can maybe you get R1 and R3 from where you are, but to me, why change it for that one situation? Because now R1 is, the umpire one is really, he's got a big angle. He's going to have to drop out toward second base to be able to get a good look at both. That's a big, wide range of vision to change it. And I'd say it's simpler just to stay with what you normally have. And
You're always protected if you do what the book says. That's what I'd say.
This is one of the more difficult two-man mechanics as the plate umpire. If it's a short catch like is being described, you really just got to take that first base line extended and then snap your head over as soon as you have the completion of the catch to see where R3 is. If it's a deeper fly ball, you have a little bit more leeway with this because you just need to get the tag. If it's a deep fly ball, more than likely there's not going to be a play back at the plate. So you could even come up the line a step or two, like to up near the left-handed batter's box to actually get a little bit better view of the line, and then you can snap your head back and see the tag of R3. This is one of the more difficult mechanics for the plate umpire in the two umpire system, and shows even more why you need to be get to a point to be completely comfortable working all the different extended lines and the different positions and angles that can be created just around the plate.
Very well said. So we got one more, I guess, and it's not really covered necessarily in the book, but I'll pull this up. So this is actually I'm going to put one more runner on here. We got a runner on, in this setup, it's runners on the corners, but we're going to put R2 out here. So I guess just talking plays within the infield, in this play, we got a ground ball here. If they're at one out, typically, you're going to have your infield or your middle infielders be playing back, and then your corners may be in. So maybe we have a double play here, maybe we don't. I like discussing this play as it pertains to, just general ground balls in the infield. So I guess my personal opinion, obviously, we're going to have U1 starting out somewhere over here. So if we're anticipating a play at first, getting to about here where we have an angle to make that call, but reading the ball, let the ball tell you where to go. I guess the one thing that I personally am not a huge fan of, I guess, and this is I actually learned this from a gal by the name of Perry Barber, phenomenal umpire. She's worked Major League spring training games, been to pro school, I think 5 times. In a play like this, what she taught me to do was, I'm going to change my color here. I'm going to go blue. Was to set up. That's not going to do it. I'm going to set up right here. Set up right in the batter's box after everybody has cleared out, because you still have the responsibility for the touch at the plate, but then we also have responsibilities here. Swipe tag, pulled foot. And what were you say, Connor?
Runner's line interference.
That too. So and the same principles apply really wherever it's hit within the infield, obviously, unless it's very clear that, you know, we have an infield in situation, you know, we got a 1-run game, and we know that any ball hit in the infield is coming home. So, you know, one of those plays that you definitely have to kind of read and cue off of. But you know, just short 10,000 foot hover on plays within the infield with the bases loaded, because it's not covered in the mechanics manual.
Jacob, why'd you have it? Excuse me. Why did you have U1 in red where you have them?
So this play pick, Larry, is depicting a runner on first and third. We're still talking bases loaded.
Okay.
And so in a bases loaded situation, generally speaking, I'm starting about where U1's at. And so I just modifying the play pick, I guess, to fit the scenario.
Okay.
So I will clear all drawings and I will stop my screen share. Okay. All right. Well, it is 12:53. I guess I have a couple comments. I don't know if Adam or Connor have any other comments as well. Adam, thank you for joining us and lending your insights. It's always great to be able to pick your brain and learn some stuff along the way. I guess the one thing that I want to just say and reiterate is, you know, guys, thanks for taking the time to join us and learn and get better. You know, the higher you go up, there's a phrase that gets tossed around a lot, bars and cars. And the full version of the adage is you learn how to umpire on the ball field and in the book, but you learn the art of umpiring in bars and in cars, or I guess in the COVID era, Zoom meetings. And so that's one of the things that you know, Connor and I are working on trying to do is teach, you know, what it is that the book says. But then, you know, we had Adam today and Russ and Dan last week, you know, bringing their knowledge and insights, as well as Larry, into the art of umpiring. And I guess like one of the art of umpiring topics that you know, we're eventually going to get into is when we start talking about signals. You know, what is the art of umpiring as it pertains to signals on catch, no catch? You know, Connor was talking about, you know, does every play require a signal? I personally agree with Connor. The answer is no. And so that's, you know, that's the art of umpiring. And so, you know, we want to teach you guys not only what the mechanics say, but then the art of umpiring, because there is not a science to umpiring or officiating in general. It is truly an art form. So I will pass along over to Adam or Connor if they have any closing thoughts or anything else.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I wanted to hop on here today and mostly observe what you guys are doing. I think this is really cool. I wish there were more training opportunities like this in general. So Jacob sent me the schedule. I hope to be able to join in more meetings. I love talking officiating and you know, we're getting closer to outdoor ball. So I think this is great stuff that you guys are doing, and I applaud everybody, and Jacob and Connor and everyone on this meeting. Is you know, great to be able to take a few minutes out of a workday and talk baseball.
Connor, any final thoughts?
The only thing I've got is, you know, the book tells you where to stand, but ultimately the play dictates where you need to go to officiate that play. So don't worry about getting to a certain exact spot on the field. Go where you need to go to see the play.
That's very well said. I think, you know, if you know, Larry has moved on from his on-field career, and you know, unfortunately, I said last week, you know, I had been able to umpire with Russ, Dan, but I was never able to umpire with Larry. But I have had Larry as a supervisor. And Larry, I guess just to pick your brain here too, I guess when I'm evaluating, mentoring, or supervising a lower level game, you know, as Connor said, you know, the book is a starting point, but I'm not gonna. I don't get too worried about on a one play if you're a little bit out of position as the book says, simply based on the fact of what the play actually did. I don't know if that's something you'd agree with or not, but
I do. I always say mechanics are starting places. The game dictates finishing places. So, for instance, I've got a powerful left-handed hitter up and I've got a runner on first and third. I may go over to the C position instead of the B position because I can't get out of the way of that. I mean, it's not as good as it for the pickoff at first, but I still can get myself an angle for the pickoff at first. So why not play that type of thing? Now, if the pitcher's throwing 100 miles an hour, maybe I wouldn't do that. So anyway, again, mechanics is where you start. Mechanics are the science of umpiring, and using some common sense is the art of umpiring.
well said. Well, thank you everybody for taking the time out of your day today to come listen and learn. Hopefully, everybody picked up something. I guess we're now past the basics of the mechanics. Next week we're going to be doing runners on first and third, and runner on second and third, and runner on third. There's not a whole lot of mechanics that are specific to those pre-pitch scenarios. So we should be able to get all of those done in one day. And Connor's going to be leading that session. And if you guys have questions, please do feel free to give me a call. Give Connor a call. I always love talking officiating, talking baseball. As Adam said, outdoor baseball will be here before you know it. I'm looking at a game on Tuesday, and I'm willing to bet that if we play, we will be outside. So if we have any questions until next week, please do feel free to send them my way. And before we wrap up, any last comments, questions from anybody?
Thanks a lot, Jake.
Thanks, Jason. All right.